G'day everyone, there's some more Blue Archive here. Surprise 4-day early stream. So originally I was planning on rolling for the Bandolts, which are coming up next week. But I got to thinking about it a bit, and as far as I'm aware, Band Koso and Band Yoshimi are pretty much only used in red sets. And reminder, if you don't recall what set is, that's this little lad over here. So that blue set will be turning red at the same time the Bandolts come out. And he'll be red for a month. So I quite like the game mode. It's unique and it's different. It's unique from the other kind of raids, and it just provides more gameplay variety, and it gives love to different units than other game modes would take. For example, instead of hyper buffing one single target DPS, you want to instead use AoE buffs on 2 DPS, and even the type of DPS are different because it's not big burst damage with their EX skills. Instead, it's auto attack focus because set has an 80% damage reduction on EX skills, so you barely scratch him with them. So yeah, I quite like the game mode. That being said, thankfully, at least for the even till current day JP, there's no real incentive to rush into being able to do higher levels of it, because the rewards aren't all that important overall. Like, you don't get any pyroxene from it. The limit break mechanic that was introduced with it amounts to a 2% increase in stats overall. So when fully capped out, it's a 2% increase in whatever stat you're increasing, which is really not much in the grand scheme of things. So basically, don't feel pressed that you need to sort of rush those kind of units. So that's why I was starting to think about putting off rolling for the band girls. Plus, there's also the fact you need both of them. You can't really get by with one of them. You need both of them to do the super high level red set. And in the lower level ones, you actually should be okay without them if you have like swimsuit Nonomi and the like. So yeah, that's nice. And that brings us to Nagisa. Nagisa frustratingly, I haven't been getting her LFs from the expert shop. Normally I do when I'm planning on, I'm going to roll for this limited unit, so I'll go ahead and start accruing some of their LFs for when I get them. Unfortunately, I hadn't started doing that for her because it was sort of the same thing that happened to me with Otsko, where it's like, this is an interesting unit, but the consensus, okay, at least in the sources of information that I was looking at the time, the consensus seemed to be, she's good, but she's not really necessary. There are other things, like, we get other things that basically fill the role just fine. So there's no real point in going out of your way to roll for it unless you just really like it. And then turn around, And more the past few months, I've noticed, wait a minute, she's starting to pop up all over the place. Everybody's using her everywhere. And it's like she's used in set as well. She's in red set. She's used in raid. She's used in mobbing. She's used in PvP. And I was like, huh. So basically, more bang for your buck. She's more versatile. So I decided that I would roll for her instead of the Vandals, and I'll put them off till their rerun next year, depending on how next year shapes up. So that's how we arrived to this conclusion. Now, as for dear Nagisa, our tea enjoyer, she's an AoE, so she's a low cost, but very solid damage AoE red DPS special unit that also provides a massive 40% defense decrease against red armored enemies. So you would use her against, well, obviously you'd use her against red enemies. So that just and that applies before her damage procs, by the way. Before attacking, it decreases the defense, so she does even more damage than what this says, basically. Basic skill is a heal, and it heals even more, over double, if it's a Trinity student, which sometimes it is, sometimes it isn't. Just more attack, and then she increases the crit damage of all red allies by a solid 24%. So she's a decent stat stick, solid damage, really good defense debuff, and 15 seconds is pretty tight, but it is enough time for a DPS window. It's you might have to practice it a bit, but it is generally enough for your most common DPS windows. So lots of good stuff there. Oh, I suppose. Now, she is fine at 3-star for the most part. Okay. I was going to show. So her weapon basically adds 3,800 crit to her third skill for herself, which means it's not wholly necessary. Like, obviously, it would be helpful to have, but you don't have to. You don't necessarily have to do it, or worry about doing it anytime soon. There's no rush. You can just gradually pick up her airlifts from the expert shop, and like me, bugger all. But alright, enough jibber jabber, let's get to rolling, shall we? Fingers crossed I have better luck in Blue Archive than I have in FGO, because mercy. Looks like my first roll luck stack. Actually hoping to requeue some Eligma back up, because I've had to use some recently and I'm below 4,000. I don't like it. Keep her coming, because she's quite useful once you can get her raised up, which is something I've neglected to do, unfortunately. It'd be nice to get a Kokana, Atsuko, or Onsen Shigure Spook, but I'm not going to hold my breath. Let's see how my luck in getting 3 stars is in the first place. 37, that's not bad. Here's our last ticket. Oh, there's a 3-star. Why'd you take a swig of water? Throat's getting a bit scratchy. It's a bit awkward.
試練が怖いとき、苦難に負けそうなとき、私が一緒に立ち向かってあげましょう。
Okay, that's better.
正義実現委員会羽川蓮美先生の指示を。
ゲヘナ学園給食部のジュリと言います。お腹が空いたらいつでも。小さいからってなめないで。将来性はご主人様と一緒に楽しい一日。ゲヘナ学園給食部のジュリと言います。私が来ても
Finally been getting around to trying to get her up, because she starts popping up more often than you would think as well.
いつでも。
I also need to raise her New Year version, because that's a useful support to have. Okay, what's it going to be? Wrong spook, love. Oh well, that'll save me. Honestly, she's the last special coin from Total Assault coins. The purple one. She's the last one of those that I don't have maxed out, so that's just a head start on that, I suppose.
試練が怖いとき、苦難に負けそうなとき、私が一緒に立ち向かってあげましょう。ゲヘナ学園給食部のジュリと言います。お腹が空いたらいつでも
Why would I
私に
completely
言ってくだ
forgotten
さ
what
いね。
Julia does? I think she's the one with the repositioning poison hamburger. Maybe. At least we're getting a decent amount of golds. It's just more Ligma. Typically find recouping a lot of that. Okay, so this is something good.
ごきげんよう。あ、こっちの言葉の方がより自然かもです。はじめまして。
So far, there's only been a red and blue set, no purple or yellow ones. I imagine, I kind of feel like a purple one may be coming along though, because the maid twins are both seem to be, well, oh. No, maybe it's just one of them. One of them's very on our attack focused. She's a mag dumper. I think it's Momoi. Oh. Hey, we take those. We should take those. Who's up for crit molding in blue raids? I'm just happy to get something new, honestly. instead of repeats. Although repeats do give me more hitting my back, I suppose.
言っとくけど、私が一緒になる以上、真面目にやってよね。
So I have one version of Iris, and I could theoretically unlock the other ones. I have enough of her airlifts, but I'm just waiting for her to be rolled so I can go ahead and 4-star her immediately. That was not a spectacular roll, but better than a min roll. Alright, what are you going to be? Aha! Of course. That's painful because I already UE40 there, or 50 there rather. Oh, Yakiyaku? That's funny. So, she's an interesting one because she actually has insane burst damage, but she is extremely tricky and difficult to use. You have to really get your timings down, timings and positionings down, with placing her turrets and such. It's I've yet to see any speedrunners, not to say that there aren't ones, but that I've just missed. But I've yet to actually see any. You know, I'll take that just because eventually I need to. It's kind of good to get her start up to like UE30, UE40 because she provides so many stats. I think her UE40 boost is pretty substantial too. Now I'm drawing a blank on it. One new. There we go. I'd like to see those. I am okay with that development. Last one, what a tease. How's it supposed to be? I seem like I never roll Junko. Isn't that interesting? Okay, who's this going to be? Aha. She's also UE50. Very much pain. Come on, Kokona, Atsuko, Onsen Shigure, or just Nagisa. Save me from having to go full on Spark. Because I'm quite nervous about. Because I want to have double Spark for Fits. Now, even if I have to Spark my current plan, which is this banner, and then Kokona, I will have double spark ready for this. I will just be completely dry afterwards, which I don't like because Onsen Shigure is coming up like a little under a month after this, and then Kisaki is after that, and at the very least Kisaki is a must roll as well because she's another one of those hyper supports like Himari and Akawa. Okay, that's something. What are you going to be? Oh. There she is.
ごきげんよう。トリニティ総合学園ティーパーティーのホストを務めております桐藤渚と申します。微力ながら先生のお役に立てるよう尽力してまいります。
And there she be.
奥空彩音です。ただいまより先生の支援を担当します。
30, so we saved 70 rolls off of Spark. So that's not terrible. I'm still 2.6k into a third Spark, as opposed to being directly on 2 left. Or rather, no, I would be under 2 left. Huh. I now have more Eligma than I did before I upgraded. Oh. I had like 4100 Eligma earlier, and I went ahead and UE30'd my Onko. She was 78 out of 100 on going to 4-star because she spooked me twice, the rascal. And I'm having a bit of difficulty in this Grand Assault. It's been a bit of a bugaboo for me. Specifically, so yellow and blue, I have, well, as you can see, I've cleared insane on them with a respectable score. It's 27.5k on either of them. But for some bloody reason, reds, which should be theoretically, so okay. I don't know. So red should be easier than yellow. So blue is a little more understandable because you use I used swimsuit Hanako. Alternatively, you can use New Year Mutsuki, who it actually has a slightly higher score than swimsuit Hanako, but I don't have Mine, so I have to borrow her. And my New Year Mutsuki is... see if I can find her. She's only 4-star. So she's a long way from UE 50. Speaking of, and here you can see I have Iris and Karen able to be exchanged, but there's no real worry about doing so. I think her hair is slightly different, color-wise. It's like more faded in a regular version. But then that happens with some of them. Yoshimi is a good example. Pay attention to the way... Where is Yoshimi? Wait, is my Yoshimi? She's leveled slightly, isn't she? So look how her hair looks here, color-wise. Now, take a peek at her band alt when that drops in a few days. Kodori had something similar, where her hair is much more yellow in her... Maybe I can show you. I think she's permanent. Yeah. Completely different hair color, basically. It's interesting. I think the eyes are at least the same. It's strange because it's not like they have... I think the eyes may even be a bit different color. Maybe even the halo. Oh, great now. No. Matism's been activated. I think the halo may be the same. It's just not pulsing quite as intensely as normal Kodori. Which is interesting to see that kind of thing, even though it's the same artist.
先生のお言葉、心に刻んでまいります。
So I do hope I have enough mats here to okay. It's always the wristwatches. Oh, listen here. 5 and 7. Okay. To the expert shop. Gonna hate to do this because I overdid it last go around in the expert shop, so I'm kind of lower on tickets. Okay, we needed 5 and 7, correct? Back to Nagisa. No, that's it. Wrong nun. Or not even nun, wrong would you call that white hair? Or light grey? I guess their hair is different color. This is more of a really light brown. I don't know. I'm not an artist. Okay, that did it. That's good. Unfortunately, I will not be able to max her skills. And I'll show you why. Right now. Maybe you could already, those with keen eyes are maybe already seeing it. That's right. She's one of the dastardly students that takes Wolf's Egg Steel. But she doesn't stop at orange. Oh no, she does not stop at orange. No, she takes the high purity Wolf's Egg Steel, and she needs 44 of the bloody things. And for those of you good at your maths, you may notice I do not have 44. This is probably the most important sub-skill to max, so... Well, they're all important, but... I'll probably max it and then try to get these to... hopefully 7, if I have enough books. I should, because I've been preparing for 2 different bundles, which are also Trinity, by the way, so... should be able to get just enough bugger all. Oh, not surrendering iron those. Okay, now we just get the others to 7 and should be good to go for a bit until I can accrue more Wolf's Egg. That's not so bad. Also, just a reminder, this adds more crit damage, 3800, to her enhanced skill. You can also see what it goes to 26.6, right now it's 22.4. Not too bad, it's 4.2% difference. Going from 7 to 10. So you're not missing out too bad. Not that big at 7 as opposed to max. And she's a good 80 Mystic away from 4 stars. Not Mystic, whatever. Probably just get her to 90 eventually. Oh yeah, that reminds me. Where is Midori? There she is. Ah. She's at UE 40. Oh yeah, she's just 46 away from... Next raid shop refresh, she'll be ready to go. Oops. Completely neglected this. I've neglected her in a lot of ways. To be fair, I've rarely had the occasion to use her, so that's my excuse. There's... this little cutie, I need to get her leveled up eventually. Shadow Shoes. She's another repositioning. She's basically like a special version of a Track Yuka. Yeah, but she can reposition your allies and give them a shield. And then she also juices up crit damage. Just an attack stat stick. UE40 is fine for her, by the way, which is why she's on the dot. UE40, and I didn't grind past that. Any more would be superfluous. She's not a DPS, so she doesn't exactly require better moves. Yeah, I need to level her up eventually. Which can wait until I actually use her for something. Definitely good to have. If you need a second team for like goals and you need repositioning, and you've got Track Yuka on one team, and then you've got Shizuko on another, Swimsuit Shizuko on another, for repositioning purposes. There's one example off the top of my head. Why not borrow Track Yuka? Maybe you have to borrow a DPS. Like, okay, I have so this is one of the other nuns. No, not you, you bugger. You, Hinata. I actually started on raising her up a bit in preparation, even though she's only 3-star. So she's been what people have been using her for goals lately, at least outdoors goals, field goals. So you could borrow one that's actually maxed and then theoretically have this one to clean up any unlucky remaining HP if needed. It's nice to have options. So Hibiki just got another, I think it was a Bond gear. That's pretty good, so don't be neglecting your Hibikis. Oh, she's so close to 4-star. Do as I say, not as I do, when it comes to neglecting Hibikis. In my defense, I already had several AoE Red special students that I'd actually put a little bit of, like, leveled some at least. Maid Yuzu is one of them. Swimsuit Miyu is another. Like, I already had both of those. And of course the rat. I had the rat, but where's the rat? Probably scrolled right. Yep, I did scroll right by. This little rascal. There's actually a cheese. Yeah, I'll just let you enjoy that one for a moment. There's actually a cheese you can do for, I think it's Extreme Gregorius. Maybe not this one. This is indoor Gregorius, is what we currently have, isn't it? Not too far. Oh no, indoor's fine. Okay. So there's a cheese you can do involving a maxed Nagisa, so you can borrow that. Well, maybe not. I'd say a UE40 one. I don't think she has to be necessarily UE50. And just a... Where is she? Saya. I think a Yuka for tanking purposes, just a regular old Yuka. I'm trying to remember. I'm pretty sure that was the comp. It was like you would only bring those 3, and then you would, at very specific timings, you would use like Saya's skill and Nagisa's to manipulate debuffs and such, or manipulate debuffs and then Nagisa DPS. And where it really came in is when you get to the end on sort of the rapid fire mode. You would just spam Nagisa's EX over and over, and you would just, like, at that point you would barely damage the boss, but she'd be able to do so much damage with her skill spam there that she would just blow up the boss's remaining HP with probably a good 20-30 seconds to spare with average luck. But yeah, that was a while ago, so I may be misremembering the exact comp. And I'm pretty sure that was for extreme. It definitely wasn't for insane. You can't do it for insane. As for this one, and why I UE30'd my Arco, is because for some reason my Hino was coming up short damage wise, and it was very puzzling. I even watched multiple videos of like people that know what they're doing using the same comp. The only difference is they had UE30 Arco, whereas mine was a 3-star at the time. And I was hesitating at first because I was like, surely to goodness, the difference in stats from her being 3-star to being UE30 isn't that much that she will pass down an amount that will make that big of a difference in Hina's damage. So basically, what was happening was, in each volley, I was coming up right at about 10 million short than any of the videos that any of the speedrunners were doing and the like. And it was very consistently about 10 million. So I was definitely missing some. It was either I'm missing some sort of stat somewhere, or I'm just getting extremely unlucky with crits consistently, which is also not out of the question, to be fair, but let's actually test this. I don't know if I'll do a full real run here though of this mock, but
救護騎士団の出番ですね。
still remember the rotation. I'm kind of scatterbrained at the moment. So this boss is kind of complicated to explain. He is probably easily the player base's least favorite raid boss because he has a kind of wonky gimmick. So essentially, AoE is king, which I could actually show you the bloody wish I could pause it and get rid of the UI, but so AoE is king, but also this counter right here. So this counter counts debuffs that's on the boss, and the sweet spot, and basically there are certain breakpoints of amount of debuffs he has on him to where he will start to take extra damage. And when it's right now he has damage resistance, but if he goes yellow he starts taking like regular damage, and then if he goes green he takes like double damage. So it turns green at 5 or 6 buffs. You also don't want debuffs rather. You also don't want to go over, because if you go over 6, then at least in insane, then it starts dropping back down again. That's very much bad. That being said, it's considering how difficult it is to get it to 5 in the first place, let alone 7 plus. You don't typically don't have to worry about that. So that's basically the key. Also, there's an organ a pipe organ in the middle of the field, and there's a set rotation of what it does. Sometimes it will shoot out damage, sometimes it will shoot out a debuff, sometimes it will remove a debuff. And basically you have to memorize, you have to learn the pattern well enough that you know, okay, it's about to shoot a debuff, so I need to turn it to Gregorius to where the debuff, okay, so if you hit it, if you get rid of its health bar, it will turn. So you make use of this by either having it send debuffs to Gregorius to get back up to 5 or 6, or if it's a debuff cleanse, you want that aimed towards your party. So it's a lot to keep track of. There's a lot of visual and audio clutter, and he does absurd damage as well. So even like this Mina is UE 40, and and even she gets, and Hoshino here get even a UE 40 apiece, get dangerously low sometimes, and can just outright die if you're unlucky. That being said, theoretically with a 3-star Mina you can do this. It's just despite the resetting for DPS molding, you'd also have to mold for her surviving, and it's just a bloody nightmare. So yeah, this one's even more disliked than Gauze is, or I guess Chesed is probably another that isn't super highly thought of, just because it just feels a bit boring and tedious. But yeah, so we set it on auto, so Soshino will automatically cast. So that was important. The cohort, so hit Mine landing on the organ, doing damage to it, and then Koharu finishing, well, healing both her and Soshino, and flipping the organ is important because it's going to send out debuffs towards the boss now. And then we wait until, hopefully I did that right, 10 course. So as you see, the boss is at 5 debuff. That's disappointing. So in the videos, they were consistently getting 95 million left. And the best that I've ever done after the first volley was 105 million, which is still 10 million off. So this is even worse with a better arco. That is extremely frustrating. I have no idea what's causing it, to be honest with you. I don't feel like I wasted my Ligma though, getting it of UE 30, because you use her so bloody often. Having the extra stats is nice. So yeah, that's frustrating. That's it's 16 mil off, and that's only going to get worse if that's consistent. So yeah, that has me a bit stumped. I don't understand why my damage is so much worse. Another option would be, oh, maybe my dress Hina's bond is that much worse than the ones in the video. Now, Not all of them list what bond they have theirs at, but one lad, IS Rainstorm, who I recommend by the way, good Blue Archive channel, does list his Draceno's bonds, and it's at 25. Where mine is at 22, and then his regular Hina is at 26, and mine's at 21. So the difference in that regular Hina is only 81, so 21. So if I replicated that level of bonds, that would basically amount to her getting like 20 extra attack. If I don't touch regular Hina's bond and I took her up to bond 30, she'd have 26 extra attack. Surely to goodness, 26 extra attack is not worth 10 million plus damage, right? Maybe it is. I don't know. I will bond her up, nonetheless, to 30 once my invitations come back. Unfortunately, that's going to be quite a few hours away. Probably about 16, 15. Looks like I have head pats to give out.
ここは涼しいですね。少し騒がしいですね。授業や指揮をしてくださると、なんだか先生は本当にかっこいい。
I'm guessing that was her and I interrupted her text box popping out.
きっと先生も
Yeah.
大人な女性が好きなはずだよね。
Let me check my daily quests and see if I have to do any more non-commissions. If I can get it to pop up.
こちらの件、
No, well,
お願い
there's
し
this,
ても
but
よ
I'm
ろ
not
しい
too
でしょう
fast
か。
about that at the moment. That's just 4 more, but
あれ、見えます。
to just. I will say, Ruined Munitions Factory Inn is a fairly big upgrade from L when it comes to drop rate. Or it very much seems to be. Maybe on paper it isn't, but I swear it feels like it's a significant step up in drop rate. I mean, look at that. I did it 4 times and got 4 purple activity reports. That's bonkers. I swear you would used to go like a full day of grinding out L on the double rates and not get a single purple one. I have vivid memories of that.
そういうことですね。
Right. Seeing her in the event that already ended reminded me. So right here, she summons a fireworks launcher every 50 seconds. And or rather, not every 50 seconds, it lasts 50 seconds, bugger all. And she can have up to 5 of them. So every 10th normal attack, they will shoot. So the stab skill is what lets her be able to spam out more of the launchers before they start dying off. But yeah, she's really tricky with the timing. But basically, if you can get them all out and get them buffed and all that, they do just obscene damage. It's just really tricky timing wise. Like I said, I've not seen many speedrun molders even attempting it yet. And she's been out a while in JP, of course. Sumika. I suppose I should show you. That's just HP up. You've seen what this does. Tech up. Skill cost, EX skill cost down. More tech up. She has a watch, headband, and cap. Gear. This little bug is actually really good for Gregorius raid, but there's like that classic. So when he first came around, the whales were able to build the sort of rabbit comp where you had swimsuit Saki. I think you had Nagisa, you had Minori, and I think there were, maybe Nagisa wasn't involved in that one. It was definitely swimsuit Saki and Minori, and there was at least one other rabbit because they were calling it the rabbit comp, so it couldn't have been just this last year. But she provides a lot of debuffs. That's why Mina is so good, because she tanks for you, and she provides double debuff. And this is why you have to position her very carefully so she actually can add 2 more debuffs. She's another one that not quite as much as Atsuko when it comes to healing tanks, but she does pop up a lot more than you would expect. But unfortunately, I didn't get. I would love a spook from her. We'll be rolling for her next when she drops in. Her rerun is in. It's after the bundles go away, so they should be 2 weeks, so probably about 3 weeks. And then Asuka, of course. Kana's another useful one to have, but it is what it is. I want to say, yeah, so swimsuit Miyako and swimsuit Saki, both of those I'm pretty sure were used in, not regular Miyako because she's yellow, were used in the Rabbit Comp Gregorius raid, and then Minori. Does a lot of damage. She just has a big AoE. She can hit more of the minions than a lot of the other AoE reds can. Rumi and maybe Mina. I feel like we're also involved. I don't know. It was a while ago. And I had actually zero of the units for it, so I didn't really pay much attention. This was the only rabbit I had at the time, and she spooked me at least once since then. Exactly once. Yeah. I'd gotten 2 copies of her before I got any other rabbit, amusingly enough. So yeah, really not certain what's going on with my damage in that raid. Surely there's not some difference between the JP and global version of the boss. Surely not. They wouldn't do that. Have a bug where the boss on one server is quite a bit more difficult than the other servers. No. What game would possibly do that, FGO? Curious about what that's about. He's doing one of the guild fairs, the King Hassan exhibition fight, where it was bugged. So on JP, you knew who King Hassan was going to target and insta-kill each turn, but on global, he targeted randomly, so you couldn't like intentionally position your team in a certain way to manipulate the battle. So that was a bit of a thing. They never fixed it either. The rerun had the same bug. Alright, I think there's enough jibber jabber for me. We successfully got Nagisa. Not, unfortunately not the most impactful of spooks, but at this point in the account's life, when you have significantly more proportionally owned than not owned, then it's to be expected. Oh, I still have a fair few that I don't have. What do you do? She's farmable now, by the way, in case you were curious. Dark damage. It feels like they're gearing up to do a raid boss involved with dark damage or something, because they keep releasing students that do things involving dots fairly recently, like the Garu from Gehenna is one of them. And she's a fairly popular character, so you'd think they wouldn't give her a completely useless kit. So you'd think if they were going to give her a dot-based kit that it's focused up or something. And I think some of the recent swimsuits were as well, which are also fairly popular characters. So. There. Straight line. That's awkward. Alright, that's enough jibber jabber here. I reckon we'll call it. I'll go back to contemplating what in the world is going on with my damage in that raid. I may just have to bite the bullet and do extreme. I'd rather not, but come to think of it. Come to think of it. So this is day 5 out of 7. So you'd think most people would have done their runs. So those look like hardcores, maybe an extreme run. Interesting, this one's the highest. So my red and blue scores would be they have tournament clears in the review, that's why there. Well, my red and blue scores are comparable to all these. I just... no, wait a minute. My yellow and blue scores would be comparable to... Okay. Hold on. Let's see if I can find the... where's the limit of them clearing tournaments? Honestly, I might be able to swing tournaments, but I'm not too fast about it. But, insane's all you need to get all the rewards. And as you see, the threshold for getting plat versus gold is pretty... okay, there we go. So less than 200 people have been able to clear tournaments. That's interesting. So yeah, my blue and yellow scores are comparable to these. So I just need to get the red. Basically it means I seem to be guaranteed plat, even if I went and did extreme for red. But that's the principle of the thing, doggone it. I actually have all the stuff, except Mine. My own Mine, rather. Like, I have the comp, and they have the right... they even have the right upgrade levels and everything for once. It's a wee little free-to-play, so it's frustrating. It's like, I should be able to do it. I don't understand why the damage is so different. But this is just one of those wonky raids. Ah, of course. Wolf's Egg Steel is my actual nemesis in this game, I swear. Okay, let's try this again. We're going to end stream now. Next... honestly, I'm not certain when next stream will be. Or next rolling stream, at least. It will be... it'll probably be Blue Archive again for Coconut. That's about, I think, 3 weeks away or so, roughly. Yeah, because I don't think FGR is going to have any more rolling until December. Where my main will be rolling for Oberon, unfortunately. Hopefully my terrible luck in FGR can pay off going into next year. And I'll be rewarded with good luck. Like, it'd be nice to get over them in like first roll or some nonsense like that. First multi rather. And then be able to actually have a decent amount saved up for CocoCon when her banner comes at the end of January. But alright. Also, we're back to grinding Gladius a bit. Still planning on doing playthroughs of it. Just trying to figure out a decent path that hopefully won't be too tedious to watch. But I reckon that'll do it, so I hope you enjoyed, and see you next time.